This poem is called First Time, and it relates to my student days in Trinity, and I don't think it really requires much more explanation. First time. You walked me home that night in Dublin through the parks. Your Dawes bike a chaste line between us in a night that always seems to me as spring. The time I liked the city best, when Leeson Street was lined in cherry trees and I'd come back down from the colder north. In fact, it was January, and we had just come from Lord John's, a nightclub where we kissed for hours hungrily, but now walking, we talked with bruised tongues instead, you telling me all the saved-up secrets of a boy's life and longing. The move to America, the disappointment when your parents didn't want to stay, your determination to return. We shared all of ourselves at first conversation, everything that needed to be said. We fell in love that spring in the little flat on Mountain View Road, with no view of mountains, but my desk looking out on a long garden and the winter funeral of a poet once in an adjoining street. One day, after I'd given you a key, you rode home quickly to surprise me naked with a bunch of daffodils for Valentine's. We had to find the pill discreetly, but Dr. Newman was humane behind her green Georgian door, and we waited sensibly 3 weeks for it to take, which made the event an event. I wanted to lose my virginity on white linen sheets and had brought them from the hot press at home. We took a double-decker bus to Rathmines and stopped for a drink on the way, listening to the conversations around us. 2 teachers back from volunteering in Africa, as if to distract from what we were about to do. It felt like a mix of Christmas and a trip to the dentist. The thing itself was a surprise, the shy manoeuvrings, the shock of fitting into place. Afterwards, I went to see a play, Christy Brown's life story, somewhere further out from Ranelagh. I walked along the tree-lined street, sat awkwardly in the theatre, still sore, disappointed there'd be no blooms of blood on the linen, wanting to hang the sheets from the Ranelagh windows like a peasant marriage, hardly able to concentrate on the play because of the bigger drama that I wished there was a public way to mark. You would go back to America as soon as we finished Trinity, and I would cry the whole way back across the Atlantic, leaving you there after a Pennsylvanian summer and a trip to Franconia Notch and the Old Man of the Mountain, frost country, the trees of New Hampshire already on the turn. And years later, one afternoon in the painter's high house in Hampstead, the communal phone would ring outside my room, someone call me for a message, and your voice would be there, telling me you were to marry, that you knew I'd love your colonial Boston home, and how you'd be in Ireland in the summer, and that I would understand why it was impossible to meet. And I'd go back into the room and look out over a May Hampstead garden at the beautiful jays and the tall poplars, and be glad I'd the more immediate loss of a Swedish lover to distract me.